Welcome to this week's episode of Communism Combat Special Interview. This week we have as our guest Ms. Aruna Roy, leader of the Mazdoor Kisan Sangathan in Rajasthan, and actually a pioneer along with the entire movement of the right to information, a law which has become a real vehicle for transparency and accountability in governance. Also one of the strong votaries of the Rural Works Program and the NREGA, which has now come under severe attack by the new regime. Welcome, Aruna ji. Thank you so much for being with us. And my first question is, what is the greatest challenge before you today?
I think the greatest challenge is to the real reality and the concept of democracy. Because I feel that the various kinds of small or large attacks really are on the collective and decentralized process of participation, of political participation, of economic participation, of social participation, and the capacity to decide for yourself, which is what democracy actually is. So if it's going to switch and swing towards a very centralized concept of either nationhood or of leadership or of decision making, I think it's a huge disaster for India, which is really plural, which is large, which is many languages, many cultures and many differences.
But you see this threat actually translating into reality already?
I think it has translated into reality in several ways, in several sectors. Since I work with poor people, I'll begin with them. See, the first attack on MGNREGA, which has not been given by any government. Actually, the demand for MGNREGA spanned 30 years, ever since Maharashtra got the MGNREGS. So it is not something that is been given by any specific government or any political party. In any case, it was unanimously passed in Parliament, and they all raised slogans of Zindabad when in 2005 this law was passed. So actually, the attack on MGNREGA is entirely motivated by corporate interest. They do not want the growing democratic process, and they also do not want the growing economic demands, which are now housed in legalities and housed very firmly in an understanding of economics. They simply don't want it. So whether it's the minimum wage that has gone up, or whether it is the migration that has been stopped and people are staying in the villages.
In fact, that's the question I was going to ask. How did MNREGA actually impact on work in rural areas and in terms of the wage?
See, for the first thing, I live in Rajasthan, and it is true of Bihar, it's true of many other states, but I'll speak specifically of Rajasthan, but it applies across the country. You know, people have always migrated when the weather's failed them, climate has failed them. They also systematically migrate when they are in drought-prone areas. In Rajasthan, we have a systemic migration, including the great Dalmias and the Birlas and whoever has gone out. They are all people who went out with small jewelers and became industrialists. So you have the concept of the Marwadi. But we have also sent enormous numbers of construction workers, of workers all over northern India to construct. Now they go as far as Karnataka to build and construct. So it's been a tradition of moving away during the bad months of when there's no rain and there's drought. So what MGNREGA has addressed, especially for Rajasthan, is the stability and the ability to stay in your own village. And though there's still migration, men migrate now, families don't migrate. So the woman staying there has ensured the social development indicators going up, children going to school, getting better health, and migration's biggest fallout is bad health and death. So that has been stopped. And of course, you also address hunger, because you live in a community where you're a member and part of. You're far more socially secure than in a slum or in a temporary, establishment near a construction site. So the whole scenario has changed. And in fact, this money that has been generated in these panchayats has given them, and the minimum wage, which was a dream, including Mr. Raghuvansh Prasad when he was Minister for Rural Development, Mr. Jairam Ramesh was Minister for Rural Development. Many studies have proved that actually minimum wage is given bargaining power to the labour. And this is where the big farmers and the construction, the mafia, the construction mafia, as well as the whole corporate interest has been deeply affected, and they don't want it. But I would like to say one more thing, that this money, I'll give you just one example. Say in the Panchayat of Harmara in Ajmer district, which is to get 2 lakhs. After MGNREGA has come in, this has gone up from 2 lakhs to 75 lakhs to 1.5 crores on demand. Assets have been created. Now this money, for instance, gets spent in the nearby town of Kishangarh or wherever they go to shop. In our area, in the MKSS area, for instance, a leading member of the Vyapar Mandal, whom I met, and he said to me, "Oh, thank you very much." So I said, "For the RTI?" He said, no, for the MGNREGA. I said, "How does that impact you?" So I said, "Your wife isn't working, your children are not working." He said, no. But you see, my silver shop has not done so well in the last 40 years as it's doing now, because all the money that the more traditional community members are earning, they want to invest only in silver. They don't believe in banking. So the women are buying silver jewelry, and I said, "And the rest?" And he said, "This bazaar has boomed because of MGNREGA." This was during the meltdown, when the entire world was crying because of the markets being, low.